Richard Tice is Reform UK Deputy Leader and Reform UK MP for Boston and Skegness. Thanks for coming on, Mr Tice. We can have lots of investigations, but until other nations network their criminal databases, we're not going to have a Scooby.
Well, like you, I was just tearing my hair out when I read this story. I mean, the idea that privacy laws should override the safety of British citizens just absolutely beggars belief. And what's the point of Interpol? What's the point of cross-border coordination if we haven't found a way to automatically link criminal databases so that these sort of checks can be carried out, frankly, in a matter of minutes, if not seconds? I'm pretty sure in the United States of America, they have a system which means when you apply for an electronic travel authorization visa, they check all of this pretty pronto.
Well,
and
you mentioned
I think it's just a complete failure of our cross-border systems and Interpol that we haven't got to grips with this, and it's us, the ordinary citizens, that suffer.
You mentioned the ETA, the electronic travel authorization. That is coming in for a lot of people coming into Britain over the course of the next 12 months. And it means that people who come in have to submit biographic, biometric and contact details and answer questions about their plans before being automatically checked against watch lists and criminal databases. But the new scheme, it says, relies on them telling us themselves that they've got a murder conviction. Can that be changed?
I mean, let's be honest. Look, if one is a murderer, I'm pretty sure when you get asked the question, are you a murderer? The answer is no, as you indicated earlier. So, I mean, this whole thing, you can't rely on asking for the good honesty of a convicted murderer or rapist, for heaven's sake. You have to have a system which automatically checks across the databases, across, frankly, the whole of the world, particularly nations where, regrettably, there seems to be a regular prominence of certain nations rising to the top of the list, and therefore that surely would raise the threshold of concern amongst any authority.
One of the questions raised as a result of these issues is, well, if you've had a conviction for rape for which you've served prison time, and that conviction is now either spent or you've served the prison time for it, why shouldn't you be able to come into a country like the UK? You've done the crime, you've served the time. Richard Tice.
Because frankly, I don't think we want former rapists, former murderers, former terrorists coming into the United Kingdom. They've actually, they've got a precedent of being wrong-uns, bad people. And we don't want wrong-uns and bad people coming into the United Kingdom. Full stop, whether they've done the time or not. It's our country, it's our borders, it's our sovereign nation. We have the choice to decide, and we simply shouldn't tolerate it. It's insane.
Thank you for coming on. Richard Tice, Reform UK Deputy Leader, Reform UK MP for Boston and Skegness. The Home Office have said this: those applying for a visa to come to the UK are required to declare any criminal convictions and are subject to checks against UK police databases, watch lists and immigration databases. Note, by the way, that the requirement is on the person to declare it. Go back to the Home Office statement. They may be refused if they have a criminal conviction, a history of serious or persistent offending, or have failed to declare convictions. Our police also carry out routine checks for overseas criminal convictions on foreign nationals who are arrested, and where serious convictions are found, individuals are referred to immigration enforcement for deportation consideration. End statement. But that's after the fact, isn't it? That's after the fact that the person who came into the country, despite having a murder conviction, has broken the law in some way here and therefore needs to be arrested. So 2 questions for you. Why is this information not available to the UK Border Force? And 2, even if it were available and we had perfect line of sight on people coming into the country, we can see the murder conviction you got back then in the country that you're coming from, or the rape conviction you got, whatever. Should that person be allowed into the UK? Should we allow into the UK a person who served a conviction 15 years ago for murder?